In this lesson, we're going to look at an alternate form of division. This is alternate to long division. Now, it doesn't do everything that long division can do, but it is a very nice shortcut when you are dividing by a binomial only that is in the form x plus a number or x minus a number. That's the only time it can be used, when you're dividing by a binomial that is x plus 5 or x minus 7, something like that. So, synthetic division, let me give you one example that I really don't think you should even take notes on it first. I think you should watch it instead. Suppose I have 2x squared plus 3x minus 5, and I'm supposed to divide it by x plus 4. All right, if I were going to do this, I am going to do it long division first. I would say, what do you have to multiply x by to get 2x squared? You would say 2x. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 4 is 8x. You would start to subtract, and remember that you had to change signs. That's gone. I have negative 5x, and I bring down the minus 5. Then say, what would you have to multiply x by to get negative 5x? The answer would be negative 5. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. Negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. Change the signs. And that would be gone, and I would have 15. Whoops, change back. I would have 15, and that would give me a remainder of 15 over x plus 4. Now that's long division. Synthetically, it will not feel the slightest like you're dividing. The divisor, which has to be of the form either plain old x plus or minus a number. Whatever that number is right there, you're going to change its sign, so I will be using a negative 4. Remember, we do a lot of sign changing in division. This is the only place you change a sign in synthetic division. The division symbol really is upside down and backwards. Inside here, because I left out the x here, I'm going to leave out the x's here. I'm just going to put the 2, a little space, the 3, a little space, the negative 5. I'm going to leave a space and draw a line. It's called synthetic, which means artificial. All right, I am always going to grab this number and bring it straight down here. By the way, this is where my answer is going to be. And now I'm going to multiply whatever I've got down here times the divisor number. 2 times negative 4 gives me negative 8, and I'm going to write it in the next spot. And then I'm going to add. That gives me, that gives me negative 5. Then I'm going to multiply negative 5 times negative 4. That gives me 20. I'm going to add for 15. Now, you could see these numbers, 2, negative 5, and 15, up here in the answer. 2, negative 5, and 15. This position is always the remainder. If I move to the left, this one is always the constant. And then the powers of x build as I go to the left, which means this is the coefficient of x. My answer back in polynomial form is 2x minus 5 plus a remainder of 15 over, I've got to go all the way back up to the original problem, x plus 4. That is synthetic division, and you never once felt like you were dividing. You change a sign, you grab the first number, and from then on it is multiply, write it down, add. Multiply, write it down, add. And then switch it back into polynomial form. This is just going to take some practice. I'll move slowly through these problems. Use synthetic division. All right, remember that we are going to change the sign of this divisor number. So that's going to become a -1. Upside down backwards division box. I'm going to write down the coefficients. Coefficient of x squared is 1. The coefficient of x is 5. The constant is 4. I'm going to leave a space for writing and draw a line. Bring down your first number, 1. 1 times -1 is -1. Add for 4. 4 times -1 is -4. Add for 0. Okay, I'm done with the synthetic division, but now I have to recover my answer. This last position is the remainder, so the remainder is 0. This is your constant. This is your x. The answer is implied 1x plus 4. You would just type in x plus 4. That's pretty quick division. Next one. Going to change that sign, so I'll use a -7. I divide it into a 1, a 2, and a -35. It's a 1. 1 times -7 is -7. Add for -5. -5 times -7 is 35. Add for 0. Okay, remember that's your remainder, that's your constant, that's your x. The answer is x minus 5. So much faster than long division. The only problem is you can't do just every problem in the world. The divisor has to be plain x plus or minus a number. All right, and this one is. So let's change the sign on the divisor number. So that's -4. That's a 1, a -14, a -13, and a 3. This is a little bit longer. This was the coefficient of x cubed, x squared, x constant. Okay, how do I do it? I bring down the first number. From then on, it's multiply, write it down, add. So 1 times -4 is -4. Add for -18. -18 times -4. Let's see, 4 times 18 on my calculator, because these might get big. That's going to be positive 72. And that was kind of large. All right, and I'm going to subtract 13 from that. It gives me 59. Multiply 59 times 4 times -4 is -236. Add a 3 to it, that's -233. Unless I made some kind of weird error, then this is what we're going to get. This is your remainder. This is your constant. This is your coefficient of x. Well, we haven't had one of these, but this has to be your coefficient of x squared. That means your answer is implied 1x squared minus 18x plus 59 minus 233 over, go back to the original, x plus 4. So it's kind of a bigger numbered answer, but the process is exactly the same. Let's look at some more. All right, next one. I'm dividing by b plus 3, so -3 is my divisor out here. I have a 3, a -4, and a 1. Bring down the 3. 3 times -3 is -9. Add for -13. -13 times -3 is 39. Add for 40. There's your remainder. There's your constant. There's your coefficient of x. So the answer is, in this box, we're going to put 3x minus 13 plus We put the remainder over the divisor, which is 40 over b plus 3, and I made a mistake. Sorry, I get caught up in x's, but it was really letter B, and sometimes people will mess up on that. Okay, so this one asked for the answer in that format. I don't think it did before. No, just on that one. So you don't have to put the plus sign because it has the plus sign. Last one. This has c minus 3, so I'm going to divide by 3 because I changed the sign. This is 5c to the 4th minus 19c to the 3rd. Uh-oh, there's no c squared term. I have to put in a placeholder 0. Then 32c and 20. So let me remind you, this was the coefficient of c to the 4th, c to the 3rd, c, and constant. There was no c squared. There has to be a representative spot for it, so you're going to have to put a 0 placeholder, just like we did with long division. All right, we're going to bring down the first number, bring down the 5. 5 times 3 is 15. Add for negative 4. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Add for negative 12. Negative 12 times 3 is negative 36. Add for 4. Negative 4. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12, which has a remainder of 8. What would this answer be? Well, this is your remainder. That's your constant. That's the coefficient of c squared, coefficient of c to the 3rd. 5c to the 3rd minus 4c squared minus 12c minus 4 plus the fraction 8 over c minus 3. And I believe as I was saying all of that, that I saw it was this choice. So practice with your synthetic division. Remember that every term, you have to have every descending power inside the dividend.